Austin Price of Volquest.com, covering Tennessee football and now legal proceedings. Austin, with the court case in Greenville yesterday. What did you take out of yesterday now with 24 hours to reflect, still waiting on that ruling from the judge?
I joked when we taped our podcast earlier at Volquest. I said, Vol fans will say it's, coaching search season or whatever. I mean, it feels like we're perpetually in NCAA season. I took away that, the system is broken in a lot of ways, which we've all known. I took away that the NCAA, their, legal representation didn't have a great answer. When asked about, collectives being able to talk to prospective student athletes before they arrive at a school, and kind of talked in circles. And, it was just an interesting, sequence of events watching, Judge Corker kind of, he had both, sides of the representation with some really pointed, tough questions. And I did think that the lawyer for the Attorney General handled himself a little bit better. I thought he started a little slow and got stronger and stronger and stronger, and his close was fantastic. His closing kind of argument. And I thought the NCAA lawyer started okay, but then got weaker as Judge Corker asked more and more questions.
So if a Tennessee fan is wondering, so what should I think right now while waiting, or what happens next? What should a Tennessee fan either be thinking or taking out of the coverage that they're reading or hearing right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing to kind of take away is the fact that, no matter what Judge Corker decides, this isn't the end, one way or the other. To put this in boxing terms, it feels like for the NCAA to have a shot to win, they've got to kind of, win a few rounds here early and drag this thing into a 12-round fight. Like, I don't think the NCAA has the capability to knock Tennessee out in an early round, but I think Tennessee could, in theory, knock the NCAA out in an early round. I think winning the injunction, it doesn't mean the NCAA won't push to go to trial, won't push to go to discovery, but I think at that point the writing in a lot of ways is on the wall. And even if they go to discovery and go to a trial, I think Tennessee stands a great chance of winning based off the language of Judge Corker when he ruled not to give Tennessee the temporary restraining order last week. But, I think that ultimately, winning the injunction is almost, a massive blow to the NCAA.
Austin Price, Volquest.com. Tennessee picked up a commitment on Saturday, AP, from Collierville wide receiver, don't say Memphis, Joakim Dotson. What is Tennessee getting in him, and why did he decide to make the move now? Was it George McIntyre? What was it?
A little bit of everything. He's been trending to Tennessee for a while, Jason, and he came up, for the junior day the first weekend in February, and just kind of solidified everything for him. George has been talking to him, but really good, solid wide receiver from the Memphis area, and really has done a nice job of kind of developing his game. I think he's one that, based off talking to people, I think he'll rise in the rankings over the next few months. And again, I think a really nice addition early on here to this 2025 class.
Tennessee lost their running back coach, Jerry Mack, who went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee has made several hires from within because of recruiting right now, how important it is. I think we all can agree that's probably not the best move to make. Where do you see the running back search right now for Tennessee?
Well, I think that in some ways it's in its infancy, but at the same time I think there is an urgency, more so than there has been in previous searches. You look back a year ago, like it took him a while to find the tight ends coach officially, right? He did Coach Heupel did some interviews, 6-8 weeks after, the tight end job was open. And I don't think you'll see that this year. I think that you'll see Tennessee, move to fill that spot pretty quick. If you go back to our version 1 of our hot board, I think whoever they hire is probably coming off that list. I'm not sure we'll ever get a version 2. I think it's somebody that that has some ties to the state of Tennessee, that has kind of the ability to recruit well, develop, mentor, and honestly, I think the biggest qualification for this deal is finding somebody who's kind of hungry. Sometimes you get an older coach who's kind of at a point in his career where he's not as hungry as he once was. I think it's important to find somebody who's kind of a hungry coach, a hungry recruiter, and I know that that's kind of what they're trying to find.
Austin Price with us, Volquest.com. So Tennessee has a vacancy at the running back coach position with Jerry Mack headed to Jacksonville. The defensive side, what do you hear about Brian Jean-Marie, where things stand with him coaching linebackers for Tennessee?
I would venture to say we know something on BJ probably late this afternoon or evening. Michigan's come swinging big, trying to surround Sharon Moore with as much as they can, and we'll see what he elects to do. He was there for one season in 2020 before coming to Tennessee. I know BJ really likes Tennessee a lot, but like I said, Michigan's come swinging big here, trying to surround Coach Moore with as much as they can. I'm sure there's an attraction there to maybe coach under Wink Martindale, who's so well thought of out there in pro circles and stuff. But, again, I don't think anything's decided as of we sat here at 12:23 on this Wednesday. And, I think that, again, I think you'll see probably a decision sometime later today, one way or the other.
I know Rodney really wrestled with the decision that he made between Tennessee, Auburn, ultimately deciding to stay at Tennessee. You think Brian Jean-Marie is wrestling really hard with the decision between Tennessee and Michigan? I know he was there before and likes it here.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And again, like so much of it can be like, contract terms, right? I mean, 3 years versus 2 years, money, just different things in the contract. Sometimes, family is part of the decision one way or the other, whether to stay or to go. So it's not just as simple as kind of what BJ thinks or wants. I think you have to, kind of encompass all those things when you look at the overall decision. And, I do know his family's very happy here, but that doesn't mean that, he won't decide later today that he's going to Michigan. Either way, I don't think, as of 12:24, based on my conversations this morning, I don't believe any type of decision has been made one way or the other.
I know every AD has a list of head coaching candidates just in case. You think Josh Heupel has a list of linebacker candidates just in case Brian Jean-Marie decides to go to Michigan?
Well, I think Tim Banks would have a heavy influence in whoever they hire. I mean, obviously it's Coach Heupel's the head coach, but he's going to want that person to be able to mesh with Coach Banks, and so I mean, does Tim Banks have a kind of an idea of where he'd want to go? I mean, maybe. I mean, would not surprise me. But sometimes it's not as simple as that. So I mean, it all depends on the reach and kind of what kind of connections you have out there. But, I think there was a lot of heavy interest in the running backs job. I think Jerry Mack has told a lot of coaches out there how pleasant Josh Heupel is to work for. And I think that's why you saw there were, multiple Power 5 coaches that inquired about that running backs job. And one would think that might be the case on defense as well. So we'll be interested to kind of see where it goes.
Hey, Austin, before you go, we mentioned Joakim Dodson with his commitment at wide receiver to Tennessee. Anything else that is standing out on the recruiting radar or anything to watch coming up on the recruiting trail?
Not too much, Josh. I mean, it's really kind of quiet. February's a dead month, and, I don't know if you guys had saw, we went to North Carolina last week, so I saw all those really impressive kids. If you get on my Twitter and you look at it, the the freak tight end, Kendra Harrison, from over there in Reedsville.
Oh, my goodness.
He broke the back. He told Matt Ray and myself last week, because he had 31 rebounds in a game a couple weeks ago. And, we said something about him. I said, I heard you tried to dunk one that night, and it ricocheted, went all the way up to the ceiling. And he goes, every time I dunk it, I try to bring the rim down. And last night he literally did. He ripped the rim off and shattered the glass. And the video is on his Twitter, which, again, I've quote tweeted it. So if you go to my Twitter, you can find it there. So not much as far as like what's about to happen as far as commitments or anything, but if you just want to watch a freak athlete make a play, go check that out.
Yep, you just got a retweet, or as Elon would ask us to say, a repost from Josh and Swain. So he took the rim and the glass down with him on that dunk. So, by the way,
he's fantastic.
That has been a trend in conversation of Tennessee's recruiting efforts, and I'm sure it applies to other schools too. But George McIntyre, big-time basketball player, Jordan Ross with his highlights dunking the basketball, that shows off his athleticism. He's in the 24 class, and you want to see athleticism at that edge position.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, Harrison is unbelievable talent at the tight end spot. That between he and Carson Sneed, Tennessee has got some really nice options that they're heavily involved with in that 2026 class. And Swain's not as old as you or I, Josh, but when you start talking about the 2026 class, it just makes you feel old, because at the end of the day, my oldest daughter is a class of 2031.
Oh man, you are getting up there. By the way, Swain's a little bit older than me, so I'm catching up to you guys. I'm the one that's behind here. Just to clarify.
Okay, fine.
At Austin Priceless, go give him a follow on Twitter. He's covering what's happening in the court. You have Grant Ramey and Rob Lewis covering what's happening on the court, plus the football field and recruiting trail. So all angles.
Austin, happy Valentine's Day. We love you, man.
Love you guys, too. Y'all be good.
Thanks, Austin. Austin Price, Volquest.com, where you can read his work, see and hear his work as well.